Cape Cod Broadcasting weaves the listening environments of 99.9 WQRC, Ocean 104.7, WFCC Classical 107.5, Cape Country 104, and CapeCon.com's website experience to reflect the lifestyles of the people who live, work, and play on Cape Cod. We hope that you enjoy this podcast.
I'm Laura Reckford, and this is Sunday Journal. I'm here in the studio with P.J. Martin-Smith, Executive Director of the Nantucket Island Chamber of Commerce, and we're talking about one of the premier events on the island and for the region at this time of year, the Nantucket Daffodil Festival, coming up next weekend. P.J., welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Now, I've been to this event. It is so fun and colorful. I was surprised to read on your website the history of it because it has somewhat humble beginnings. Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Yes, it's actually a great history. It's a great story. It started in 1974. Doris McCausland, who was a summer resident on Nantucket and publisher of Gourmet magazine, convinced the Nantucketers at the time that we should have a spring opening, sort of a refresher back to the island. And the idea at the time was to plant. The goal was 1 million daffodils across the island to welcome spring back to the island. They started out planting daffodil bulbs along Milestone Road, which, if anybody's ever been to Nantucket, is the only state highway on Nantucket that stretches from the town all the way out to the little village of Sconset. Well, they did that, not 1 million bulbs, but they started out, and not knowing what they were doing, they planted them in a straight line right up against the street, which is not the way you're supposed to do it. And so, of course, the DPW came along and, as they were just coming up, mowed them all down, and that was the end of that. So they had to go back and replant them, and they replanted them in clusters, which is a little bit better, and back from the road, so they had a little bit more protection. And that was the start of Daffodil Weekends. A few years later, she convinced Nantucketer Flint Rainey to help her out, and they started the first vintage motor car outing, is what they called it, with 19 vintage cars. And that began the festival, so to speak, on a little Saturday afternoon. In 1980, the Chamber of Commerce took it over and started making it a bigger and bigger event until today, where we have things not only for flower lovers, but for, we call it adventurers, bikers, partiers, you name it. We have events going on all weekend long.
And this event, Nantucket gets booked up, obviously, in the summer and during Christmas stroll, but this event also fills hotel rooms, doesn't it? How early do people plan for this event?
People plan starting way out. People, even the year before, will book for the next year. We do still have space, so people can still get in, but we do book up, and of course, our antique car parade is really very, very popular. We went from those first 19 cars to now usually we sell out at 115 cars, which is as many as we can fit on Main Street. We right now do have a few openings for that car parade, but obviously the ferries, getting them over and so forth, can be difficult. So book quickly if you want to bring your vintage car over. And it's a great front because those cars line up at 9:30 in the morning. They are all themed. This year, the Warner Brother film In the Heart of the Sea comes out in December, so Nantucket is rallying all around the Moby Dick theme, and so there'll be a lot of things going on around that over the weekend. And so a lot of the cars will be dressed up around pirating and all of that sort of thing. And it's really fun as they come around. for the judges to look at the cars when they first come onto Main Street, and many of them jump out of the cars and do little skits and so forth. So it's a lot of fun to watch that happening as well.
I know the car parade is really one of the highlights, and whenever one visits an island anywhere, there are always wonderful old cars on islands because there's not an easy way to get them off the island. And so I think Nantucket takes advantage of that for this event, but also people decorate these cars, and it's very, very whimsical. People are also dressed up in whimsical ways as well.
Exactly, and it's a lot of fun.
Now, for many seasonal businesses on the island, of course, they open more like on Memorial Day or later, but this event comes and businesses do open up for Daffodil Weekend. Isn't that right?
Exactly. On Nantucket, this is really the kickoff to the season, so many of our businesses and restaurants are just opening up. This year, for the first time, many of our businesses have decided to run specials that weekend, so if you're coming over, be sure to stop by our information table. We're going to have a discount flyer available, so many of the shops will be offering special discounts just for that weekend.
And this is really a full weekend of events, as you mentioned. What are some of the highlights this year? You've talked a little bit about the car show. What are some of the other highlights this year?
There's so much going on. We have a scavenger hunt that people can do all weekend long. It will take about 2 to 2.5 hours, but you can select any time over the weekend that you want to get a team together and do it, anytime between Friday and Sunday afternoon. There is a 5K race on Sunday. There is, if you don't want to go out, the cars end up in Sconset, the village of Sconset, and there's a very elaborate tailgate going on out there. But for people who have children and want a more family atmosphere, we have a children's beach picnic that goes on right in town. So those people who don't have transportation out to the village of Sconset or really would like to be more in town for the afternoon, that's a great alternative. We have a nonprofit marketplace. We have pirate storytelling out there. We have antique fire engine rides for the children. We have a free band concert going on there. I think there's mini manicures. There's all kinds of events going on right there at that picnic. A rescue dog reunion. There's a dog parade. There is a Daffy hat contest. A window decorating contest. All the stores decorate for their windows up to the nines. There is island tours. There's walking tours. You would not believe the amount of things there are going on for people to do. It's just a weekend chock full of events.
I'm Laura Reckford, and this is Sunday Journal. I'm talking with Nantucket Island Chamber of Commerce Executive Director P.J. Martin Smith about the famous Nantucket Daffodil Festival coming up next weekend, April 24th to 26th, Friday through Sunday. Now, you were talking about the tailgate picnic, and one thing about this that people should know, for many events in this region, they're really for the visitors, but the tailgate picnic really brings out islanders, and that's something where the whole island sort of comes out to celebrate spring. Isn't that right?
It's true, and it's an interesting event because it's a place where both islanders and visitors congregate, and everyone is welcome. These picnics are extremely elaborate. If it is the ultimate tailgate picnic, where the candelabras come out, the silver comes out, and people just set up, and you walk up and down the street. It's totally closed off, and people welcome you with open arms and share their food and their themed picnics, and everybody is judged on how elaborate their picnics are, so they get more and more elaborate every year, and it is quite a show.
Now, for people who have maybe never been to Nantucket or can only make it for the day during the Daffodil Weekend, do you have suggestions in terms of how they should plan their day?
Well, I would come over early in the morning. Both the steamship and Highline have their fast ferries, and I would definitely recommend that and get over early so that you are on Main Street at 9:30 when the cars are coming in and being judged, because I am always there because I'm helping bringing them around, and it is hilarious to watch what some of these people do to get noticed by the judges. So that's a lot of fun. And then you can walk up and down the street and see the cars and make your people's choice judgment, as well as see the downtown windows, and you can also judge the window decorating contest. Then you have some time to obviously shop, which is one of my favorite things. And all of our stores are very unique boutiques. They are not – we have no chains on the island. So if you've never been there before, you're going to find some very different shopping opportunities, which is always great. And our restaurants are world-class, so you might want to stop and have a little brunch or something before noontime when the cars start their parade out to Sconset, which they do a big square in town, and then they head out to Sconset. So that's always fun to watch that parade. And then you have a choice. You can either find a way to get out to Sconset to see that tailgate, or you can head down to Children's Beach for that really great show down there. Both are terrific opportunities. Our Whaling Museum also will be open with the start of their great 2-year exhibit that is a tribute to the a whale ship, the Essex, which is a kickoff to our In the Heart of the Sea year-long promotion. So I don't think you'd want to miss that. So there's lots of opportunities that day, and then you don't want to miss grabbing another opportunity to visit one of our stellar restaurants before you have to head back that afternoon. So it's a chock full day if you've only got a day, but I would come over early and get the latest boat out so you can fill your day with as much as possible.
And some people might not realize that you actually don't need a car on Nantucket, and some of the things you mentioned, like Children's Beach, it's walking distance from downtown. The Whaling Museum is walking distance, of course.
Yes, definitely don't need a car. And while you're there, you can take advantage of our many van tours and walking tours if you're not familiar with the island, to get a very reasonably priced chance to see the island. Also, in the afternoon, our garden club will be offering a free bus service out to their flower show, which will be a great exhibit this year out at Bartlett's Farm. So that would be free as well. So no necessity to have a car at all. That will be really a great opportunity for you, and a reasonably priced day to come out and check out our island. All of our information is on our website, nantucketchamber.org. Right on the homepage, you will find opportunity to see all of the events going on that day.
And there are so many different events, and I noticed when you were reading them off that there are quite a lot of events for children. This is really an event for the whole family. Isn't that right?
Exactly. We have adult events, children's events, so no matter whether you are a couple, singles, a group of women that want to come out and just have a great day, or a family looking for a fun day to get out and enjoy spring, we've got something for everybody.
And, of course, we talked about the car parade. You mentioned the special children's parade, and there's even a dog parade. So
yes.
Several different parades.
Yes.
Going on. And then, of course, as you said, the entire island is decorated for the weekend, including the window contest for businesses.
Exactly. So there's so much going on. You can shop till you drop. So everybody loves that.
And originally, as you said, the original goal was 1 million daffodils, and they didn't make that right away. But at this point, isn't it more like 3 million all over the island?
There's over 3 million daffodils throughout the island, up and down those streets. And a lot of people always ask me, this is every year a huge concern. The past few years, it was warmer earlier in the season, and people were afraid all the daffodils would be gone. And this year, of course, it's been cooler. Everybody knows we've had a much colder winter, and people were worried there would be no daffodils. But I just flew off island this morning, and yes, there are daffodils. And I'm not a daffodil expert. I really rely on Mary Malaves, my friend, and all of the ladies that run the garden club. But I am told that daffodils bloom in 3 stages. So there are 3 stages of daffodils, and our first stage of daffodils are definitely in bloom. So if you come over next week, you will see a lot of daffodils in bloom. And as I said, we have over 3 million publicly placed daffodils, and that doesn't even touch the surface of our privately placed daffodils in our home, around our homes, and so forth.
And part of the sense of humor of this event that we mentioned earlier, everyone is wearing daffodils. They're on hats, they're on dogs, they're all over the place.
Exactly. So definitely, if you're coming over, get out your yellow.
That's right. And then the Daffodil Festival has a special theme this year.
Yes, it is. It's all about the bulb, which is a great tribute to our Nantucketer, Megan Trainor, who everybody knows has done a great job out in the pop world with her great music. And we wanted to just give a call out to her.
For people who don't know, she lived on the island for many years.
Yes, she grew up on the island, and her parents and family still live there. They own a jewelry store there, and we're very proud of her success.
Now, might she be at the Daffodil Festival this year?
You never know.
Okay, who knows who will be at the Daffodil Festival this year. Now, in the last minute, any more information you'd like to leave with listeners about the Daffodil Festival?
Just come out and enjoy. It's a great weekend. We are ready to party, obviously, after this long winter. I think everybody is ready to really celebrate spring. So I think it's going to be a great event this year. I think we all need a little spring. So come out and celebrate with us. And you can, again, find all of the information on nantucketchamber.org. If you need any further information, just give us a call, 508-228-3643. We'll be glad to walk you through any of your questions.
A wonderful event. And unfortunately, we're out of time. I've been talking about the Nantucket Daffodil Festival with PJ Martin Smith, Executive Director of the Nantucket Island Chamber of Commerce. PJ, thank you so much for being here with me today, all the way from Nantucket Island.
Thank you.
I'm Laura Reckford, and this is Sunday Journal.
This podcast is a presentation of Cape Cod Broadcasting, which is solely responsible for its content. Thank you for listening. For more information, please visit us at capecodbroadcasting.com.